Hi everyone. Let's talk about building codes. Starting with the basics, what are building codes? They are regulations that cover everything related to a building's construction, its alteration, its maintenance, and its use. And in general, building codes are minimum acceptable standards for these things. It's like a floor. You have to build up to that level. The purpose of building codes is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the general public. It is not, in general, to prevent damage to property or to reduce monetary loss. All right, what we're interested in is taking care of people. Where do building codes come from? Who makes them? Well, there's an organization called the ICC, or International Code Council, and they produce a product called the IBC. The IBC, or International Building Code, is a model code in that it is not actually the accepted building code anywhere. All right. But what happens is that local jurisdictions, cities, counties, different governments, all right, adopt a building code. And as they adopt it, they can make changes to the building code. This is called amendments. So wherever you happen to live or wherever your project happens to live, there is a local jurisdiction. All right. And we abbreviate that when we mean, whatever your jurisdiction happens to be. We abbreviate that as AHJ, or the authority having jurisdiction in that area. The ICC continually works to update the code. There is a 3-year code cycle. As of right now in 2022, the 2021 the 2021 IBC is the most recent. But most jurisdictions are a little bit slow to adopt. They have to review, and they have a whole cycle of their own to review and adopt these codes. So they might be 1 or even 2 code cycles behind and might just now be adopting the 2018 or even still using 2015 IBC. Well, if that's building codes, then what are energy codes? Energy codes and the various standards, they set minimum efficiency requirements for how a building operates. All right. Unlike building codes, they don't address life safety or any property protection issues. All right. But they do work hand in hand with the building codes. There's various names for these energy codes. They could be called green codes, sustainability codes, etc. What in general do energy codes cover? Items like wall and ceiling insulation, window and door specifications, equipment efficiencies, lighting fixtures, and energy use in general. Some of the most common energy codes, so these are the ones you're going to run into, are the IGCC, that's the International Green Construction Code, and that's the one that your textbook talks about. Right? That coordinates with the other ICC codes, that kind of code family I was just talking about, including the IECC, and the International Energy Conservation Code, and also the ASHRAE 90.1. These last two, the IECC and ASHRAE 90.1, are probably the most common for jurisdictions across the US to adopt one or the other of them. Energy codes typically come in one of 2 formats, or, of course, they could mix the two or offer options. And those are prescriptive and performance. A prescriptive code is kind of like a recipe. You follow the directions and come out with something that is authorized or allowed or meets code. All right. Prescriptive code is fast, it's definitive, so it's easy to tell whether it will be accepted or not, and it's conservative. Each individual building component or uh, system, excuse me, must meet some specific quantified requirements. And there's generally a bunch of tables that list minimum and maximum requirements. The other type is performance. All right. For performance code, your system as a whole or the building as a whole must meet specific goals. All right. Um, uh, Buildings that use performance code are designed to achieve particular results, and those results are measured against an established baseline. All right, so we're talking about system performance rather than individual components. This is a more flexible approach, but it's harder to design too. All right, so it's useful for non-traditional building features or any time you're choosing to use new technology, which might not be included in the prescriptive requirements. All right, we've just done a quick overview of building codes, and because this is an environmental control systems class, we've done a little bit closer look at the energy codes. Thanks, everyone.